Every year, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, Vice President and Prime Minister of United Arab Emirates, cites a survey. It's called Asda Youth Survey. The survey surveys young Arabs from the Middle East and North Africa, basically to explore their expectations about where they want to choose to live, where they want to grow, where they're going to establish their companies. And for a decade now, the UAE come first in the preference of young people in this region. Just to put it in perspective, when young people are asked in 2023 where they want to go, they said they want to come and live in the UAE. Around 25% of the respondents said UAE. For the US, for example, it was 19% said they want to go to the United States. A little bit less than that said they want to go to Canada. His Highness continuously talks about this, and he explains why young people want to be here because of our environment, welcoming environment. And he continues to say that this country will continue to be open for young talent from this region and beyond to come and settle down and grow. So today, I'm really honored to be with three people who have gone through this journey. Dino from GEMS, Toufiq from Brands for Less, and Michael from Property Finders. I'm very honored to be here with you today. I'll start with you, Dino. GEMS Education probably is a very recognized brand here and in the region. Maybe most of us here in this audience have our kids, or they went to school, or they have their kids in GEMS. I have 3 of my kids in GEMS Education. I was telling Dino about that earlier. You want to tell us a little bit, Dino, about the beginnings? How did you end up here, and why do you think the family came, and how do you find the UAE as an attractive place for business?
Sure, it's a pleasure to be here, Jean. Thank you very much. I always think there's an element of good fortune in any success story. My grandparents were teachers. They believed that families, communities, frankly, a nation can be developed through the undeniable power of education. They could have chosen to emigrate to the US or the UK, and while we would have been in education, we would probably only have 1 or 2 schools. The reality is today we have the privilege of educating almost 150,000 students each and every day, and 142,000 students are actually here in the UAE. Why did they choose the UAE? Look, to a certain extent, probably the historical sort of trade corridor between sort of India and the UAE were really strong. But I think much more importantly, and this is something the UAE's done for decades, the UAE's always welcomed people that have ambition and enterprise. They've always welcomed diversity. And frankly, again, you can think what my grandparents were like back then. They were frankly revered within the society for what they did. I mean, the romanticized version of the story is the late great Sheikh Rashid said, I need somebody to teach my people how to speak English. Somebody in the Diwan put his hand up and said, I know a guy. That guy happens to be my grandfather. But I think, look, there was a need here. I mean, because the UAE has been so welcoming of expatriates and families from different parts of the world, there was a need for us to be able to develop schools of choice for those families. And frankly, that's what's allowed us to develop the scale that we have today.
Thank you. Thank you, Dino. We're very happy that you made that move. Toufiq, Brands for Less, you started with a single store. Now you're one of the fastest growing off-price retailers in the region. You come from a country that I love very much. You want to tell us?
Don't be biased. Don't be biased.
Please, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Thank you very much for hosting me today. This is a great event that Investopia is hosting, connecting the private sector with the public sector, that we appreciate a lot. Of course, any business, for it to really stand out and really become something and be able to grow needs to be both nourished and flourished. And we have found this place to be the United Arab Emirates. It's a country that provides a lot of incentives. It has a great infrastructure that is offered for everyone. And at the same time, all the laws and rules are so easy, and they're always changing to make our life easier every day. So it was the right place that we have chosen, was the United Arab Emirates. We were lucky enough to choose United Arab Emirates. And today we see ourselves growing from being a local business into a regional business, and from being a regional business into a global business.
Thank you, Toufi. Michael, you launched Property Finders in 2007. That's long before digital property platforms, maybe a very early mover in this area. I'm not really sure, when did you move here? So you want to tell us a little bit more about your decision to come to the UAE?
Sure. Thank you for also having us. Hello, everyone. I moved to the UAE in 2005 from Switzerland, Geneva, my hometown. And as most people do when they come here for the first time, it's usually to visit a family member and my uncle had a business here. I came to visit him. And everybody was really focused on development, the big projects, the mega projects, and making money from potentially selling property and taking a commission. But very few people were actually seeing the challenge that consumers were having in finding property. The experience was pretty poor in terms of if you wanted to rent a place or if you wanted to buy a place. And when I say pretty poor, is that it was a print publication, it was a supplement of a newspaper with no classification, meaning that if, each page had all the advertisement of one brokerage, and when you change the page, when you go to the next page, it was another brokerage with all their listings. So there was no classification. And when I realized that there was a lot of mega projects being built, but there was no easy way to find this property, this is when I said, well, there's got to be a better way to organize information, and that's when the idea of Property Finder came up.
Thank you, Michael. So yesterday we heard a lot about, in this room, we had a lot of speakers who were talking about what's happening globally, geopolitics, a lot of shifts happening around us. We heard a lot about the impact of new technology and AI on a lot of businesses and investment decisions. We also heard His Excellency Mohammed Shurafa talking about, in this case, Abu Dhabi, doubling the population over the next 10 to 15 years. So this means a lot of changes going on in the UAE and around us. And in a world like this, which is very volatile, full of uncertainty, with a lot of changes, technology, population, others, how are you guys? What's your priorities? How are you managing all this? So maybe I'll start with you, Dino, talk a little bit more about your priorities at this stage.
Look, it's difficult not to look at continuing sort of the pace of investment within the UAE. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that United Arab Emirates is the largest market in the world for private K-12 international schools, which is, again, part of the reason we've grown to the scale that we have. If you just look at the three largest cities out of the top 5 globally, it's Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Sharjah.
Oh.
Yeah, people don't necessarily recognize that. So for us, given the macro tailwinds that we're seeing, I think lots of people have alluded to it, it's very difficult to look east or west and, find a better place to be than here in the UAE. So for us, it's continued investment, sort of taking advantage of those macro tailwinds. In terms of sort of technology, look, it's important to understand the context in our sector. If we want to achieve SDG 4, this is Sustainable Development Goal 4, and that is providing access to quality education to every child in the world. The world is currently short of 70 million teachers.
Wow.
So if you're going to be short of 70 million teachers, that's frankly a shortage that cannot be bridged. So when you're thinking about machine learning or artificial intelligence, the reality is that it does provide us a catalyst to bridge that gap. Now, whether we're going to see virtual tutors, intelligent tutoring systems, the reality is that the nature of what a teacher will do will still exist. Their role may necessarily change, but what we always think is that, you know, their ability to be able to inspire human potential, that's frankly enduring. So, yeah, continuing to invest across, you know, the artificial intelligence space in our sector, but really focused on what's important, which is frankly the quality of teaching provision in our schools.
Very good. And maybe I was wondering whether, just to follow up on that, what happened during COVID and, you know, how we all needed to leverage technology had also some impact on how you're adopting technology.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we've been investing within our technology platform for the best part of 10 to 15 years. So actually during COVID, for us to be able to move into remote learning was relatively seamless, but it also was able to signal to the world that actually it is possible for us to use technology more effectively in what was a very acute event. But that being said, look, when we surveyed our parents during COVID, it says, look, you know, would you choose to send your child to an online or virtual school? 93% said we want to come back to a brick and mortar setting. So, you know, that gave us a little bit of comfort, I suppose.
Not surprised. We would have answered the same as well. Toufiq, retail is an extremely competitive sector and industry. With all these changes that are going on in the UAE and beyond, and with your global ambitions, do you want to tell us, maybe in the word of my chairman, the Minister of Economy, what keeps you up at night?
Okay, first of all, let me just go back to the AI subject that we were discussing before. Of course, AI can be utilized, and we believe that can be utilized to really fast grow your business in a way whereby we shouldn't fear AI rather than embrace AI and try to benefit really from AI to really increase our business. In other terms, AI will not take jobs of people, rather than it will accelerate your business and your growth, whereby you reach a point you are hiring more people. So you have to look from the half full of the cup. At the same time, we are at Brands for Less, and we heard a lot of these words that are very attractive nowadays, the word of disruptive, the word of sustainability. It happened that our type of business is a disruptive type of retail business. In other terms, we were able to really cover the gap into providing people branded products at very discounted prices. So we were able to really bridge this gap because we believe brands is a right, is not a privilege. So what keeps me up all night is how to really be a good ambassador to this country that has given me a lot. When I go abroad, when I go outside, I have to tell people what this country provides.
Great, thank you. So you're our ambassador.
I believe every businessman here should be an ambassador.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, Toufiq.
Michael,
you were an early adopter of technology. Actually, you started a technology company. We can call you a technology company, no?
Sure, yeah.
So you want to tell us also how the AI is affecting you, but also tell us a little bit more about the sector, the property sector, the real estate sector, all these changes, demographic changes taking place in the UAE.
Yes, so when I first came, I had a particular pain point, which was finding a property, and that's the first problem that I tried to solve, and that was solving the search, the way people search for property. But I always say to my team that as long as there is friction points in the property buying or in the property renting journey, our mission is still not completed. And for those of you who rent and have bought property, and I'm pretty sure everybody has here in this room, we can all agree that there are still a lot of friction points in that process. So the good news for us is that we still have a lot to do, a lot of work to do in order to iron out that experience. When it comes to AI, it's the big topic of today, and how does AI impact your business? And as a technology company, obviously, we take it very, very seriously. Elon Musk said a couple of weeks ago, he said companies that are competing with the global techs, right? And we're competing with the Googles and Facebook for viewers. If we don't embrace AI, we will be irrelevant in 3 years. Not in 10, not in 5, in 3 years, right? So it's going to go really, really fast, and catching up later on won't be an option. So we integrate AI in a lot of the ways of working, mainly to improve the productivity of our team, right? The go-to-market on how we build product and how we get the products to market. The reality, how is it going to really change the consumer experience? I think that what AI will enable to do is it will enable agents to become a lot more efficient, right? And so the good agents, which are transacting today 80% of the properties, represent 10 to 20% of the agents, right? It's really the 80-20 rule. The challenge with these top agents is that they're a bottleneck, because today, without AI, they can't actually process so many transactions. So they focus on the high-value transactions that are generating large commissions. So you'll get a great service if you're buying a highly valued property, but if you're buying a one-bedroom apartment, the service that you're going to get is going to be pretty. So AI is going to help getting that service that you're getting for your mansion villa with that, immaculate broker that knows all the information, all the way down to the studio's apartment, because only the top agents will remain in the market, and we won't need that long tail of agents that are currently existing.
Very interesting. I never thought about it this way. That's very interesting, actually. Thank you, Michael. Listen, we still have, a few minutes. So this is an investment conference, so I want to talk a little bit about investors' attitudes towards the UAE and towards our companies here in the UAE. Maybe I'll start again with you, Dino. You've had a history of engagements, obviously, with investors. You want to tell us a little bit more about that, and maybe how it evolved over time?
Sure. Look, I think today we're on our 4th cycle of what I consider an institutional financial sponsor. Actually, our investor is on the next panel. So Jad is on the next panel. And look, certainly the way that they view education is infrastructure-like. So, it has tendencies which make it incredibly resilient, defensive, still high growth. So we're soft infrastructure, and certainly from a scenario where you would argue that it was only sort of typical private equity that would look at a business of our nature. Today, actually, the appeal of the education sector, and certainly private K-12, is more significant. And you've got big infrastructure funds and firms that are looking at it, big sovereign wealth funds as well, that have been invested in it for the last couple of decades. But yeah, look, increasing appeal, because if you think about the underlying dynamics, today it's a $7 trillion global opportunity, the global education marketplace. By 2040, it will be a $23 trillion opportunity. So again, predicated by population growth and, frankly, emerging economies, large middle classes. That's basically the opportunity that investors are looking for.
Very good. Thank you so much. Toufiq, you just announced, was it a few months ago, 6 months ago, is it? Maybe less than that.
Yeah.
Very big transaction. I spoke to you about that. You were very excited. And
yes.
we think this is very exciting for all of us in here. Do you want to tell us a little bit more? You want to tell people?
No, we're very excited that we are a company that has been founded in the United Arab Emirates and grew in the United Arab Emirates. And from there went to the GC, was really recognized by a Fortune 100 company that really pulled the interest of these companies to this part of the world. Of course, we believe in strategic investors. We believe that they can add value, as long also, of course, we share the same values with this strategic investor. And we are very excited with this partnership.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're very excited about that, too. Michael, also, you had history with private equity, General Atlantic. And so you want to also tell us a little bit also about the shifting attitudes towards the UAE?
Yeah, for sure. So I, and I'm sure my colleagues as well, regularly go to international conference and talk to global investors. And I can tell you there has been, over the last 24 months, a major shift when you say the word UAE to global investors. Their eyes lit up in a way that hadn't happened before, right? And I have been pitching the region and Property Finder for decades, and that is a stark change. So this is, thanks to the leadership of this country and the beautiful economy that they're building, and we're forever grateful for that. When it comes to the partnership with the private equity, we have two partners, an equity one and a debt one. There's increasing demand, again, that's coming for the region. So today, I would say, the powers have shifted, right? There is more inbounds than before, right? Before we were going out and trying to pitch investors to come in. Right now, it's more about deciding who do we want to partner with and who's the right partner. So it's a pleasant place to be, and we feel very fortunate.
Yeah, thank you. I do agree with you. We have, at the macro level, we have our FDI inflows, and we see each year we're just hitting records and records in the UAE. And it's great to know that our companies are not only attractive, as you said, are becoming more and more attractive, but also they have now the options to choose and select, and this is becoming more competitive. So it's more to the advantage of the UAE companies. Gentlemen, again, it's an honor to be talking to you. We went over time, and I don't want to be abusive of your time as well. So thank you so much. Thank you all for listening, and looking forward to continue this conversation.
Thank you very much.